Welcome everyone to the B League Pick'ems show. It's your boy here, Dan at the B League says, coming at you with a prop show from Underdog Fantasy. Promo code GF2 for 100% matching deposit up to 250 big ones, or ask Jeff Lambert. Do that because he knows more than me. He sends us a sheet every offseason. I just don't read it. It's fine. He doesn't care. He loves me anyway. We're here to talk about props for Thursday night football. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the Dallas Cowboys at the probably should be 2-1 Giants. No, I'm not salty or bitter. Graham Gano, damn you and your hamstring to hell. But either way, we're going to talk about a couple props that I like, some pick and props over at Underdog Fantasy for this week's Thursday night football. We're going to keep it nice and easy, nice and light. And we're going to go from there. We're going to go pick number one. We're going to go with a low-hanging fruit. We're going to go Daniel Jones, rushing yards higher than 28.5. Put simply, this is going to be like beating a dead horse. Everyone's talking about how bad the Cowboys' rush defense is, and that's fine. Their rush defense sucks. It's really bad at the moment. They're the worst in the NFL at the moment. Look, they're getting smashed by running back after running back, and even quarterbacks have had their way in them. Maybe not so much Derek Carr, because, the most yards he gained was a hip thrust after he scored a touchdown. But either way, we're talking about Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson against the Cowboys in weeks 1 and weeks 3 have combined for about 123 yards as a total. So around about 61, 62 yards on average to quarterbacks who are decent on the move. Jones is starting to move a little bit about, obviously after the ACL injury last year, he's a little bit gun shy on that in that regard, but not as much anymore since he was prior to that knee injury. But, he has got 67 yards for the year so far on the ground and 3 games over 43 rushing yards on the Cowboys, which all happened, surprise, surprise, at MetLife Stadium where this week's game takes place. It's a lower rushing total than what Devin Singletary has as well, so that's what I'm chasing, a lower target from just as capable of an option. I feel like Singletary is around about 61, 62 yards. He's probably going to get there as well if you feel confident in that, but we're chasing the lower total from a guy who probably is going to have to escape Micah Parsons. We know he's done it in the past. Not escape Micah Parsons. We know he's had to run away from him a fair bit, though. So there is that. Pick number 2. We're going to go a defensive player. We're going to go that. We're going to go and look at an IDP prop in that regard. Donovan Wilson, lower than 4 solo tackles. Odd to go against the grain here. It was, Jordan Hicks and Jock for Cleveland. They had 9 solo tackles on them a few weeks ago versus the Giants. It was last week, sorry. But the way the Cowboys have been rotating their linebackers against anyone that isn't Eric Kendricks, like they've been, I think Leafu's got in there, Wilson's got in there. There's another guy, I'm forgetting his name. Damon Clark, I think, is the other one. They've been rotating these guys in and around Kendricks along with Donovan Wilson. So these guys have been getting rotation in. Kendricks is playing a lot of the work, and it's hard to kind of pick which guy it is that's going to play alongside them. And obviously, if we're going with a rushing total with Daniel Jones, good chance that a linebacker is going to get in there. But I feel like this seems like it's a high total for a guy who has 2 solo tackles for the year, which were both against the Saints in week 2. And obviously, the way they were rushing on them, 2 solo tackles from that guy, I feel like this might be a bit of a given here. So we're going to lean into that. We're going to go pick number 3. So if the Cowboys can't pick up on the rush and they're not going to tackle as well as we think they might, we're going to go Dak Prescott here. I'm actually leaning into the problem that we might see here. Dak Prescott lower than 278.5 passing yards. I feel really weird about this. And my instinct when I first saw this line was, oh my God, he's going to absolutely annihilate this. So I thought maybe 310, 320. But I actually waffled on this because I could see an obvious game of the Giants turning it over. And I think this is a problem for Dak. Daniel Jones is going to turn it over. He's going to fumble. He's going to throw an intercept here or there. I feel confident about that. Some short yardage. Giants might not get out of third and short, third and long, whatever it might be. They're going to punt. He's not going to have to throw it that far. I don't think that's going to have to happen, So I feel pretty good for Dak in that regard. He's going to have a safer game than what we're thinking. It's going to give Dallas a lot of short yard opportunities. Again, I'm the Giants fan, so I've seen this song and dance way too many times for me to care. And, I hate saying that out loud, but it's going to happen. So, again, initially I wanted to go higher because, the recently for Dak, you would suggest that he can get there quite easily. What do you have, 300 yards this weekend? Like, he can get there against a worse pass defense than Baltimore. Well, Baltimore's pretty bad. They've allowed a lot of passing yards this year, but that's not the point. But we're going to go that way. If we can get away from that, so we're going to say, look, A, they're going to catch and B, force Dak to go aerially. I think the Giants also, they've been stout in the air. They've been decent. You got to give credit where credit's due. They've only averaged around 210 yards per game through the air per week. They've had an easy-ish run. They've had Jaden Daniels in his second game there. Deshaun Watson last week, it was trash. The only time they got absolutely hammered was by Sam Darnold in week 1. So Giants pass defense actually isn't too bad. I thought they might be, very young, very inexperienced, but, they're not too bad. And it's been a few weeks and they're starting to get a bit of form behind them. But, despite the record, 293 or more in back-to-back games, it seems the way to go, but only one game over this quarter since 2019 for Dax. So, short week, get right game for the Cowboys defense. I have a weird feeling it's going to be a game of turnovers, mistakes, and going under. So, he's got the current form on his side, but not against the Giants so much. I feel like this is going to be one of those weird games where we go, man, I really think he should have done more, but you're going to look back and go, I don't think he would have had to. I think they've got this one wrapped up pretty easily. Speaking of wrapping this up pretty easily, that's us for this week for Thursday night football props for the NFL. We're going to wrap this up one more time. Pick number 1, Daniel Jones, rushing yards higher than 28.5, as it would be. Pick number 2, Donovan Wilson, lower than 4 solo tackles. And pick number 3, Dak Prescott, lower than 278.5 passing yards. I've got Dallas for the win, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Here we go.